Oh, I'm live.
Testing.
Oh, I'm live. Oh, they only come in through one ear. I don't like that. Uh, I'm gonna fix that right now.
Testing.
Oh, I'm live. Oh, they only come in through one ear. I don't like that. Turn the editor on. I'm gonna. All right, you wanna? I'm gonna mute that. Mute this. I don't. Now you should hear me. I hope. Mm, now I should be heard in stereo. Hey, how you doing, Ryan? A friend of mine was using this earlier today, and I haven't used Streamlabs in I don't know how long. It's different, so I'm trying to use it to help him learn a little bit. It's used to be a almost exact clone of OBS, but it's a little different now. Um, let me see. I don't like how this is working here. Can't bring up my. Can you hear me okay? I don't like how this is working here. Can't bring up my. Can you hear me okay? I don't like. Yeah, I think it sounds all right. Here. Can't bring up my. Yeah, it's different than OBS. I mean, a lot of very similar but different. Yeah, I think it sounds all right. I rather use OBS. Yeah, it's and a lot of things are behind a paywall in here. Plus, you have to you have to set up a similar but different. Yeah, I think it sounds all right. Let me mute the YouTube stream. Yeah, but a lot of things are behind a paywall. This is a basic. I'm using the free features, but there's a lot of stuff behind a paywall. Yeah, so you use different features. But I guess it's working. Can you hear? Can you hear the guitar? Should be able to hear the guitar, I think. Um, yeah. I had the stream. I had the if you're here, I had the stream running. I unmuted it, paused it. But I do have I thought I had desktop muted. It should sound pretty good right now. You're not hearing any echo or anything. Yeah. Yeah, a friend was using it and he was having some issues, and I'm trying to walk him through things. Assuming that everything's just it's the exact same as OBS, and it was a little different. How you doing, Sean? How are you? How you doing? But I don't know why. Let me see if I mute the desktop. It is the desktop is muted. And let me see if I'm gonna play a backing track. You should be able to hear that. Let me find that backing track. And I don't, which is right. Let me. You probably hear that, right? Probably hear the clapping and all that. Ah. Good deal. Maybe I'll. Let me know if this is too loud. Let me mute that and. Let me get this. Let me know if this is too loud. All right, I assume that was okay. If that sounded all right, I'm gonna play with it. But I might have to turn the guitar up a bit and mute my mic. Thanks, Herb. Move this up. Let me get it. Let's go a little bit louder. And I don't want to start there. We want to start. Let's start about there. Yeah, I like I like using those measure scales. Uh, Definitely like that. Yeah, E major, and I can throw a little. The guy that wrote the backing track, he puts a little minor stuff in there. I might do it a little bit, but it's all just all mainly using E major. Mm. If you ever land, yeah, yeah. Oh, I do plenty of that. I land on plenty of bad notes. So I am using Streamlabs. A friend of mine went live with Streamlabs this afternoon, and he's trying to figure some things out. And it used to be almost exactly identical as OBS. I haven't used it in years, so I said I'll download it. And now you have to sign up for it because they have a free version and a paid version. Some things are behind a firewall. I mean, still very similar to OBS, but things are a little different, a little set up different, and trying to figure things out for him. Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that backing track. It was one of the ones. It was like an '80s backing track style that was on that Laurie Mishmash had about a month and a half or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, and it's a collaboration backing track. She puts up these backing tracks every week for people to jam to. It's yeah, it's not a it's a collaboration. It's not a contest or anything. And I just man, just I just love playing it. Just so many things you could E major, so many things you can play on. It just sounds really good. I'll play with a couple hours. I'll come up with something that I never knew I could come up with. It'll sound pretty good. Thanks, Herb. So I guess this stream looks pretty good. I guess the video quality's pretty good. I'm not. Well, I can. Seems like it's pretty good. I still like OBS better. And of course, nothing is as easy as Streamyards. If you don't want to mess with any of this stuff, but it's fun. It's I like figuring this stuff out. But it was weird when I set it up ahead of time, and I go to record. I set up the it has the what uh, I don't know, about a half hour before I went live. I set it up, and you do it in the calendar, and I go in there like I'm hitting live. I must not hit done or something. I don't know. It took a while for it to. I was doing something wrong, and it finally started. It went live, and then we are doing the show. Um, Charles is doing a show tonight at 10 p.m. and I think you're going to enjoy it. I think he's going to play some new songs. I don't know how he learns these songs so fast. I've been playing for. I'll be God willing. I'll be 70 in August, and I started playing guitar. I was 15, I guess, 1970, something like that, 69, 70. And I had a couple times I stopped playing for maybe I know one time it's like 10 years, and another time maybe 7 years, and I got back into it in 2015. I said this before. I knew I was going to retire at 62 or whatever, 65, whatever. And I got back in at 2015. And I said, I'm going to buy a decent guitar. So I took money out of my 401k. And, and yeah, 59 and a half, you don't get charged and penalty charges or whatever. And I paid it back to myself anyway. And I got that Stratocaster, got that American Deluxe Stratocaster, not knowing I would get more guitars. I'm thinking, why would anybody want more guitars? Well, thanks to YouTube and everybody that has multiple guitars, I did the same thing. Although they're not, most of them are cheap. I have maybe three or four, somewhat expensive ones. Being in my Les Paul standard is probably the most expensive one. I probably don't play it much at all, really. But and this one I'm playing now is like a $230 guitar, something like that. Now, and they have it on sale for like 189 now. But I'm retired. What else do I have to do? I got a lot of health problems. I mean, my knees are just shot. They were so shot. And I don't go out of the house a whole lot unless I have to. And, we sold our single family home 5 years ago. We've been here 5 years. And it just enough. My knees are shot. My wife had a knee transplant a couple of years ago. She's got to get her other one done now. I think I'm heading for the same thing, and just a lot of aches and pains. It sucks, you know. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, it sucks. I have a 81 year old sister. She's in better shape than me. She can keep the weight off. She does Pilates and all whatever. She's doing way better than me. But I don't. You know, yeah. Just this is what I got. I just don't let it drip on my interface. Yeah, yeah. My wife brought me home a Big Mac. Yeah, I gotta see a doctor about that. I have sleep apnea. I'm going to see a doctor about my weight or weight management. I got to, this yo-yo dieting, lose 50, 60, 90 pounds and gain it back all the time. Can't be doing that anymore. It's just making me sick. But I don't want to talk about that. It's Friday. I don't have to work. Oh, that's right. I don't work anyway. But this is all I do. I mean, I stay in the house. If it wasn't for computers and software and guitars, I don't know what I'd do. Because I don't watch too much regular TV. YouTube, I watch 90% of the time. YouTube. Hey, how you doing, Yubi? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I'm checking this out. Um, Joe's guitars and gear. He was using Streamlabs earlier. He was having some issues, and I haven't used Streamlabs in I don't know how long. It used to be almost identical to OBS, and so now I said, well, I'll mess with it again, and you got to make an account. You didn't have to do that before, and it's still similar to OBS, but it's a little set up differently. And actually, some things are behind a paywall. But for what I do, I'm just trying it out for a friend of mine. And, he should stick with just OBS. I like OBS better, actually. It doesn't have all this extra stuff that you don't need or you don't have to use. Yeah, I don't know where it says. Let me blow it up here. It's not even telling me unless it's somewhere else. What I do like, it's automatically has the chat is in there from YouTube. Now on OBS, it'll tell you what your CPU usage is. I don't see it on here. Of course, I can just do it in Windows, which on my system, it's using like 1.2% of my CPU memory. I got 32 gigs memory in this. I'm on an old Ryzen 7 3800X. It's my main driver. It's 6 years old, and I just bought like 6 months ago. I bought well last summer I tried to build an AM5, and I had it was bad. Two at Micro Center. The first one was a gigabyte. I forget the board. It was bad. It wouldn't even boot. And then I just went with took that back. I went with Asus and 7700X CPU. And that thing, yeah, I got Windows 11 installed, but it would crash all the time. And I switched every part out you can imagine. I took that back and got pissed off. I took a break for a while. And then I said, my wife was saying, just build one, just buy one. Don't build one, but I like building one. But in the meantime, she said, just buy one. I bought it, so I bought a Intel. Haven't had an Intel in years. And I got an i7 14 gen, the ones they had problems with. Of course, I So I bought an iBuyPower, and as soon as I got it, update the BIOS, and I'm not having any issues with it. But I still wanted to build an i7, right? I mean, I wanted to build an AM5, and so I said, well, I'm going to try it again. So they had they had those combo deals at Micro Center. This one they had a 7600X 3D. They're the only ones that sell at Micro Center. With the Asus board. This one went together fine. I haven't had a problem since. And so I have those two, and then I have a Mac Mini M1, and I still use this 3800X the most. It's the 6-year-old one the most. I don't have any problem with it. You know, I just it works well. Yeah, it can be stressful building your own. And my case was I live like I was getting everything at Micro Center. It's like it's a 100-mile round trip, and I had all those issues. So I'm taking it back. Well, first the second one I was just took the memory, switched out the memory, the power supply, all, and nothing helped. There was something actually when I took it off, I might have been. It might have been mine. I think had some bent pins in there, and which the pins are on. I think the AM5. It's on the board. I might have bent some pins. Uh, so when I decided to build one again, this AM5, I made sure I looked at everything ahead of time. Nothing was bent, and I just real slowly put it right in top. I know I didn't bend anything, and it's working fine. I haven't had any issue. I don't use it a lot though, but it's working fine. And in my wife's laptop, she has Windows 10. So the support is going. I think it's October 14th, something like that. Is the support for Windows 10 is stopping. You can buy support for like a year and for like $30 or something like that. But hers doesn't qualify for the free upgrade. Everything passes except for the CPU. It's a Gen 7. You need a Gen 8. Everything else passes. But of course you can bypass that. And they got plenty of ways to bypass it. There's 80,000 videos. But the thing is, eventually, if I put it on there, put on Windows 11 on there, upgrade to it, I think eventually it could just stop doing the Windows updates. They'll make it, but I don't know. I still might do it. And you worked at Micro Center? Micro Center was there around that long? Is that long ago? I mean, I know they're headquartered out of Ohio, I believe. And when I first started going to Micro Center, which was I guess it was about 15 years ago, and they had one in Rockville, Maryland. It was like 70 miles from me, and I would get stuff there. Then they built one in Baltimore, which is 50 miles, a little closer. Well, it was a lot closer because I was living in. I think at the time I was living. Was I in Pennsylvania? No, I was in Pennsylvania, but it was. But I moved. It was probably about 45 miles then. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm like a kid in the candy factory. I go to Micro Center, and I mean, I got everything I have. I got there. Except for the iBuyPower. I got the Mac Mini, Mac Mac Mini M1. That thing is fast, but I got the basic one, and it's got a 256 gigabyte drive, and the reason why I got it, I wanted to learn how to use Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, and they have demos. They put out a demo, and every time it's only supposed to work for 90 days, but they put these demos out, and as soon as they got a new version, it starts all over again, and Baltimore morons for sure. Yeah, the Baltimore Orioles are the worst team in baseball. It might be a couple other teams worse but 2 years ago they won 100 games, and they were over 500 last year. They're doing horrible this year. They they're playing a doubleheader today. I know they lost the first one like 19-5, but they're just and they got almost the same people they had 3 years ago, and it's just yeah they haven't been doing too good since I was. They haven't last World Series they won was at '83. They were winning all the time. I mean they had in a 20 and no in a 17-year period they were in six World Series. They won three and lost three, and they haven't been in a World Series since '83. I'm from Baltimore, but moved in Pennsylvania, which is just north of here. I'm only like 40 miles where I grew up from, 40 or 50 miles. It was just cheaper. Like we lived in it when my wife and I got married. Um, we bought our first home was in Hampstead, Maryland, a townhouse, and then I had a chance to get a single family house in Pennsylvania. They're a good bit cheaper, and so we bought a single family home in '93, and then knowing we were going to retire, she was already retired, or just about. Um, we, it was wanted to sell the house and buy a mobile home, and because my wife she don't get around very well, and so we sold the house 5 years ago, and we've been here 5 years in a mobile home, and it's really nice. It's like a house. I mean, I got three bedrooms, and it's a really good, safe community. I mean, you got a lot of. There's some younger people. It's mainly older people, but the bad thing was this old guy owned the outfit, and he was pretty reasonable with the rate with the rent. He sold out, and this big conglomerate out of Florida bought it, and for the sole reason so they can jack up the rent. So our rent doubled in 5 years since we've been here. I think we were paying like 450. It's not quite doubled, but almost. But we like it here. We can afford it for now. Hey, Randall, will you be? When I was watching you earlier today, I messed. I mean, I use Reaper, but I rather. I'm too lazy. I'd rather find a backing track and play to it. But I started messing around with the MT Power drum and try to learn how to make your own. Move everything. I started getting into it, but it was so hard, and it's just so for me. It's just find a backing track. Now I still put it in Reaper, and just play to that. I don't have to worry about making any drum track because like the MT Power drums, the presets they had, or I didn't like, and I started tried to learn how to make some of my own, which didn't work out too well. I was in Ohio. I did. I went to. I was in tech and all this stuff years ago, and they used to have these Linux fests in Ohio, Linux Ohio Fest. I guess they have them all over the place. And I said it was 2000. I would say 13. No, it's before. Did I have my car? 13 or 12. I don't know. I went to. I guess it's about over 10 years ago now, around 10 years. Linux Ohio Fest with people I met online doing tech stuff, and so I was in Columbus, Ohio. I was there uh, 10 years ago, and a lot of people I knew from online. I met there in person. Really good people. I used to mess with Linux. I haven't touched Linux in years. Yeah, I used to mess with different distros of Linux, and well, I know one of the problems was I tried it when I got this my AM4 3800X, and I used to use VirtualBox, and for my Linux distros, you run them in a virtual environment. VirtualBox didn't work really good. Well, there's a setting that I didn't know about. Then I had off. You had to turn on. I forgot what it's called. So it helps with virtualization stuff. So I enabled it recently, but I still have messed with Linux. Yeah, yeah, but I have MT Power Drum, and there's another free one. What was the? I can't remember what the other one was. And then at my age, you forget a lot of things. Yeah, but but going back to the Mac real quick, like I say I got it to learn Logic Pro, and well, it was first GarageBand, then I started playing with Logic Pro, which is like GarageBand on steroids, I guess. And then Final Cut Pro, the video editing software, and I liked it, but I still would always go back to DaVinci Resolve. It's just so easy, DaVinci Resolve, right? And Final Cut Pro was good too, and it had a lot of presets in it. And I don't know, but I still like the way Windows did their things. I mean, I got used to the Mac, learned how to use it, but I still like Windows probably better. I'm not saying it is better. I just like Windows. For me, I like it better. I'm not saying it's better, but and I haven't messed with Logic Pro. And a matter of fact, I installed or I decommissioned I use Helix Native, and I decommissioned it off to the Mac, so I only have it on these three computers, Windows computers now. But I just like my Windows machines, and I'm not having an issue with Windows. I buy Paro i7 Gen 14 came with Windows 11, and then I upgraded here on my 3800X Ryzen, had Windows 10. I did an in-place upgrade, and I haven't had a problem. Normally, I always like to do it, clean installs, but I had too much stuff on here. I didn't feel like reinstalling. I'm not having an issue whatsoever. I don't have to log. I mean, I set my computers where I auto log in. I mean, I don't have to put a password, local account and stuff like that, and it's working fine. Now this one here, the AM5 that I built, that works fine. I have 10 on there, so I am going to have to upgrade to that. But I'm not going to have a problem with that. I'm probably just going to upgrade instead of doing a clean install. I don't have that much on it, but I don't know. I'll do the upgrade. But I always used to be against upgrades. I always did a clean install if I'm going to a new OS, but I'm not having any issues with this. Now I'm using my interface. I don't know what you're using, Randall. UB. I use on this machine here. I'm using a Revelator IO Presonus Revelator. I can't talk. IO24, and it works good. But sometimes it turn the computer on. It doesn't see it, so I have to go in services, turn it off, turn it back on, unplug it, and plug it back in, and it's fine. But my other machine, I have a Focusrite 2i2 on the Windows machine. Then I have my Scarlett Solo on the AM5, and then on the Mac Mini, I have M Audio. See, I can't remember anything. M Audio. One of those deals they had deal of the day, and it's 2.8. Yeah, eight channel, whatever, 4 in, 4 out. It was one of those deals. It was like normally it's like, I don't know. It was a good deal for like, I don't know if it was $99. Normally $240. I don't know. I said I'll get that. It's all right. It's fine. It works fine. Works fine. Yeah. Okay, Yubi. I mean, Randall. I didn't know if it's, some people don't want to. They don't want their name out there. Unlike me, I've been on YouTube ever since probably before Google had them, I think. Anyway, but yeah, I use my my real name. They remember when they're all parts of Hangouts and all that. Yeah. Oh, really? Fine. Do you really? Really, and it works fine in I know you're using Cakewalk, right? I used that before, and I liked it, and I liked it that it came with a little version of THU, That was pretty cool. But I have THU, but the full version. But ever since I put Helix Native on there, I don't touch anything else. And I'm that kind of guy. I got one type of sound. I use the same thing pretty much all the time. You know. Yeah, I see. I had the Helix Floor, and then they had the Helix software, and they're interchangeable. If I made a patch with the physical Helix Floor unit, I could use it in the Helix Native. But long story short, they had one of these Black Friday deals, and if you owned a Line 6 hardware, and I had the Helix Floor, you could get the software for, I think it was 200. Then they had a sale for 100, and then Sweetwater had $50 off that. It was like a no-brainer. So I got it for $50, and I can't. I got a video up playing stuff, seeing if you could tell which was what. If I'm playing it with the software or if I'm playing it with the Helix Explorer, the unit, and no one could tell. And I sold it. I just used the Helix Explorer. Time surfing alien. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm checking out this. What am I on? Oh, Streamlabs, which is it's like it's like OBS. It's almost a clone of OBS. Well, I'm not a hockey fan, but I do like the Capitals. I mean, I did watch probably the only hockey game I ever watched, one of them all the way through when they won the Stanley Cup, I don't know, 5, 6, whenever it was, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I assume they're not in it. I don't know if they're still in there. I imagine they were down 3-1. I know. I like football. I can't. Yeah, I used to like baseball. I mean, I follow baseball. I don't watch it, but I follow. I know what's going on for the most part. Football Sundays, I'm going to be in front of that TV all day during the football season. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, obviously, and they've been one of the winningest franchises ever since, especially since Lamar Jackson came there. We just can't win playoff games, enough to get in the Super Bowl. That's okay. Oh, you talk about the Green Bay Packers? But I used to be a big baseball fan. I can't. I just don't have the patience to watch them anymore. Now I can watch they'll have the recap on YouTube. James, how are you? How you been, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, he was Jose Canseco. He was a masher, and he had a twin brother. Didn't quite do as well as he didn't do near as well as he did, Jose. But his brother didn't do really well. But MMA. Oh, really? Oh, I got you. Okay, green and gold. Okay. Like I said, I don't know hockey. I know very little about hockey, except for the Capitals won it a few years, several years back, and I did watch one game all the way through. But like I said, I don't, for medical reasons, I don't go out of the house a whole lot, you know, unless I have to. So, and I haven't been to, not that I want to, I haven't been to a World game probably 10 years. I don't want to step in Baltimore unless I have to. It's only when I see family and I got to go Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, just try to stay away from Baltimore. Baltimore. Although they did have, you know what they did? They had for the first time ever with Boardwalk Rock in Ocean City, Maryland last weekend. I didn't even know anything about it. I was watching things pop up on YouTube, and I've never seen so many people there. They said 55,000. You look at the pictures, it looks way more than 55,000. But I'm seeing the Boardwalk was, I mean, packed like sardines. But they had a whole bunch of bands playing from Friday. I don't know if it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or just Saturday and Sunday. But I think they had Def Leppard, Joan Jett, I believe. I forget else. A lot of bands I ain't never heard of, but it was pretty cool, I imagine. But so I guess everything's working right on here. Yeah. Um, so I guess I'm gonna stop now. Like I said, I just trying to play with this to figure out best settings for my friend and what for from what what he can use. But it is a little different than OBS. Um, but I imagine some things will work this, and it's a little more. It's a lot more different. But and like I said, some things are behind a paywall. I had to sign up to go live, and it doesn't cost anything. But you don't have to do any. You don't have to do any of that with OBS. Yeah, yeah, it was all right. Except for I kept on going live. What am I hitting wrong? And I don't know if I when I set it up, scheduled it. I don't know if I hit say. I don't know what was going on. Then finally it went and started working. But if I'm going to go live, I'm going to mostly use OBS. Or but since I'm lazy most of the time, I'll just use StreamYards. You know. All right, guys, it's Friday. Check out Charles' show tonight. I think he's going to play some new songs. He probably, maybe not, because his hand was really bothering him the other day. He probably shouldn't be, but he was learning some new songs, and he can just learn them in minutes. It takes me years, not years. It takes me a long time to learn something, and to play it. I don't play anything right, but that's why I just play something. I'll just improvise and make sure I'm in key, and hopefully it'll sound right. Um, Thank you. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Be safe and be careful. See you guys, and thanks for stopping in.